Welcome to Alter Everything, a podcast about data science and analytics culture. I'm your guest host, Eric Roy, Senior Instructional Program Manager at Alteryx. Today we're exploring how educators in the Spark program are shaping the future of accounting through data analytics. You'll hear from two innovative professors who are bringing Alteryx into their accounting classrooms. Ashley Davis from the University of Oklahoma.
I started about 10 years ago here, and prior to that was at San Jose State. But my career started in industry implementing SAP systems. And so I started with one of the big accounting firms and actually started my own firm about 3 years later. And after that, we just implemented SAP and supply chain systems for a while and actually still do some of that. But I teach full-time at the University of Oklahoma. That's my passion. And I teach accounting information systems.
You'll also hear from Ahmet Kurt from Bentley University in this episode.
I'm an associate professor of accounting and the vice chair of the accounting department at Bentley University. Since middle school, I've always been interested in data and coding. I remember trying to learn how to write code in the mid 90s and spending hours practicing and working on small, fun projects. And going into my PhD program, this basic understanding of coding came in handy as my area of research is archival financial accounting. For the past 15, 20 years, a significant portion of my work has focused on data preparation and analysis. Although the software tools I use for research work well, there's always a challenge for us as teachers in translating our coding expertise into something useful for students.
Let's start with how each of these professors first discovered Alteryx and why it clicked so quickly for their students.
I heard about Alteryx, I think it was probably back in 2018, actually. And I went to one of the big accounting firms, had a training session for faculty about new technologies and what they were doing. And I watched or participated in that kind of exercise. And having the background that I have, having implemented systems and worked with systems for so long, I saw this software and got really excited because I recognized the opportunity that was there for accountants. So I teach SQL to accountants along with other data analytics software and things like that. And when I saw Alteryx, I thought this is something that is repeatable and auditable that accountants are going to be able to use. And the big firms were telling me this in the training. But I really, as someone who had been in industry looking at software, thought this is something that is going to change the way a lot of people can work, right? Because accountants don't want to be writing code, and this kind of low code, no code environment is just perfect for them.
Ahmet had his own aha moment at a data analytics event a few years earlier.
The first time when I was introduced to Alteryx in 2018, it was an eye-opening experience for me. It was part of a data analytics event hosted by a Big Four audit firm. One of my former students demonstrated a workflow they had developed to prepare client files for analysis. I was amazed by how neat and organized the workflow looked. It was easy to follow, and no coding knowledge was required. I remember thinking, wow, I wish Alteryx had been around when I was 15. I could have done so much more instead of just trying to learn how to code. Alteryx is an incredibly powerful tool and makes it so much easier for me as a professor to connect with students when it comes to data analytics. Our students, including graduate assistants, know how to handle messy data sets, combine files, and perform various analysis with confidence.
Once they were hooked, both professors found creative ways to introduce Alteryx to their students, leveraging content from Alteryx and from the accounting industry.
So I started out and still do this exercise. So in my undergraduate accounting information systems course, so a required course by all accounting students, I have an exercise towards the end of the class. We've learned everything we're going to learn. And now let's talk a little bit more deep dive into technology because that class covers a lot of things besides technology. And so I introduce Alteryx there in the learning paths that are available for anyone who wants to use Alteryx. You can go out to the community and go into the learning path and find tutorials that are like these PowerPoint presentations that you have to watch and answer 3 questions at the end about. So I went there because I was no Alteryx expert, and I'm still not an Alteryx expert. But at that time, I had only seen it and had my hands on it once. And so at that time, I thought this is an easy way to give them access to the software without my having to be an expert myself or having to even know much about it because those learning paths do all the work for you.
Ashley discovered students could pick it up quickly, especially since it felt familiar.
One of the learning paths that I like shows how Alteryx works a lot like Excel. And my students are mostly familiar with Excel. We do some Excel in class. And so they could make that transition and they could do those specific learning paths to say, hey, if I did a VLOOKUP in Excel, what would that look like in Alteryx? And there's a specific module where you can go and do that exercise. So I started by just assigning that in that undergraduate course.
At Bentley, Ahmet and his colleagues built a whole framework for Alteryx learning across the curriculum.
Currently, Alteryx is being used in multiple classes across the school, including accounting and CIS courses. Within the accounting department, we incorporated Alteryx into both undergrad and grad courses. The first class in which we introduced Alteryx was Accounting Information Systems. We created a case demonstrating how Alteryx can streamline data cleansing and transformation processes. It was a natural starting point because the course focuses on databases, processes, and workflows. Later, we integrated Alteryx into other courses like Advanced Accounting and Internal Audit, where students earn Alteryx micro credentials and gain an understanding of how Alteryx can be used in accounting processes, such as reconciling accounting data. In the current phase of our Alteryx integration, we are moving material related to basic Alteryx knowledge and certifications to our new data analytics course, which is required for all accounting majors. This gives us the opportunity to focus on practical applications of Alteryx in other courses. And to build a strong Alteryx program, a school needs high quality and engaging materials for sure. And we've been fortunate to partner with KPMG, which offers various Alteryx cases and exercises. Of course, these resources are available to everyone, but us being a KPMG MATA partner school played a significant role in quicker adoption of these materials in many courses across the graduate program. In addition, to help our students successfully pass the Alteryx certification exam, we created a module within our learning management system. This module is available to all Bentley students, faculty, and staff. They simply search for Alteryx in the course discovery page and self-enroll in the module, which includes video tutorials, practice exercise and exams, and other study resources. Alteryx certification matters because it showcases one's skills through tangible accomplishment. By getting certified in Alteryx, we're building a stronger data analytics community across Bentley. For our students, this means greater prestige, better networking and job opportunities, and a more rewarding career both financially and professionally.
The impact of the Spark program is reaching beyond the classroom, too. Both professors are seeing students using Alteryx skills to stand out during internships and to land jobs faster.
So on an individual level, I've had students come back to me and say, I went to my internship and I used Alteryx, and this was like at a big banking firm. One student went and used Alteryx, and she was able to use it better than a lot of people that work there. And actually, all she had done was that initial training. She hadn't gotten course certified or anything like that. And they had a problem, and she said, "Can I have Alteryx to try to solve it?" And so they got her the license, and she worked on it over the summer. And then they actually hired her. They were like, "You just finish up in the next semester so you can come on full time a little bit earlier." And so she left early and got a bonus to go and join, right? And that was just with a little bit of exposure, which is amazing for students. And then if they're course certified and they have that kind of leaning, I think that they go out and they're able to contribute from day one. So a lot of firms right now are doing a lot of training on Alteryx and other technologies as you come into the firm. But I think it's a big leg up for my students to go in and be like, I can use Alteryx, right? You don't have to train me in that. So then they start a little bit earlier. And so that's full time employment. But when they come back from internship, it's always fun because if they haven't learned Alteryx, they always tell me things like, "Man, if I'd known that I could do this, I would have saved so much time." And I think that's really important in the state where we are right now, where we're bringing in AI and other technologies that are going to make the work that entry level positions usually do obsolete. They're gonna do it a little bit faster, right? And so a student coming in and having this kind of skill set where they can do something, they're a little bit more efficient, I think is gonna make a big difference moving forward for them.
Teaching Alteryx has had a significant impact on our students' employment prospects and readiness for data driven accounting roles. Many of our graduates now enter internships and full time positions at Big Four and other global audit firms already proficient in Alteryx, which gives them a distinct advantage. Students share that their familiarity with the platform allows them to work more confidently with large data sets and contribute meaningfully to projects early on. One of my former students mentioned they were significantly ahead of other interns because of their Alteryx skills, and others said that Alteryx training directly led to a job offer from a Big Four audit firm after discussing their certification during an interview. Immediate impact. Alteryx training cultivates the analytical mindset and problem solving ability that firms value most. Ultimately, student experiences validate that integrating Alteryx into the accounting curriculum not only enhances technical competence, but also empowers them to take on more influential roles in their teams.
So, what advice do they have for other faculty members who want to start teaching with Alteryx? Let's hear from Ahmet first.
I recommend starting simple for sure. And there are three effective approaches here. First is to introduce a basic Alteryx exercise that aligns with the course content. Something straightforward, not too complex. Spark offers excellent resources and exercises across nearly every business function. I suggest picking an activity students can complete without extensive Alteryx training. And it doesn't have to be a graded project, it could even be an in class workshop. Second, if there is an existing Excel based analytics exercise professors are already using in their classes, they can transform that Excel exercise into an Alteryx project. This helps students directly see how Alteryx simplifies and enhances tasks they already understand. And a related point is explaining our students why Alteryx is better than Excel or coding. To make your point, I recommend creating two versions of the same case, one asking students to use Excel, meaning VLOOKUPs and pivot tables, etc., and the other one asking them to use Alteryx. If they assign the Excel one first and then the Alteryx one a week later, the students can see how easy it is to complete many tests using Alteryx. Finally, if the professor is not comfortable introducing Alteryx themselves, they can invite a guest speaker to get students excited about Alteryx. Having a practitioner demonstrate the tool's relevance to the course content often motivates students to explore further. Building on this introduction, students can later be encouraged to complete the Alteryx certification.
Ashley had similar advice around starting small and highlighted how you can use existing Alteryx community resources and leverage the Sparked resources as well.
Start small. You don't have to open up the software and lead them through something for them to gain a lot of really good knowledge about what the software does and how they might be able to use it. And you'll be amazed that they come up with uses for it after doing those learning paths. They're like, oh, you could do this or that we may not, as faculty, have really thought about. And so I think start small and then reach out as you go along to someone in the faculty advisory committee or Eric, myself, someone who can say, yeah, this is what I do. This is what works for me, because it does help to know what all those resources are, because there's so much out there that you really can pick something that fits your needs specifically. You don't have to work too hard to create a whole new technical thing.
As AI and automation transform the profession, both Ashley and Ahmet believe these skills will be essential.
I think over the last 5 years, the accounting curriculum has become more technology focused. I think we have found, as accountants have figured out that the technology tools there are required. It is not really an option, and we've come to that understanding that we're dealing with large amounts of data and we need technology to do it. Accountants themselves don't have to do all of the technology, but they have to understand enough so that they can audit it and work with it. Like on projects that my firm is currently working on, there's always an accounting firm in there as part of the project auditing each step of the way. And so there have to be accountants involved in technical projects, and in the work that they do, they have to use technology. So I've been happily impressed over the last 5 years by my students because I've seen more of that, an acceptance of that fact that I'm going to have to know some technology to be an accountant. And so I think that's been a real positive change over the last 5 years in our industry, is that there's been more of a embracing of technology than we had previously, for sure. And I think going forward, as we look towards AI and things like that, I think that there's going to be more technology, disruptive technology, that's going to change the way that we do the work, which is going to make accountants need to be flexible towards their technology, right? You're going to have what many call an analytics mindset so that you can perform analytics with technology effectively. And you're going to have to be able to work with AI effectively.
The accounting profession is undergoing rapid transformation, driven by many factors, including AI, automation, and advanced analytics. Routine tasks such as data reconciliation, journal entry testing are increasingly automated through tools like Alteryx AI agents and other systems. And these technologies allow professionals to focus more on interpretation, strategy, big picture thinking, and decision making rather than manual data processing. In audit, for instance, AI powered tools can analyze millions of transactions quickly and detect anomalies and assess risk in real time, enabling efficient and more proactive assurance. And professionals who use these tools effectively and who can translate data into meaningful insights are in high demand. At Bentley, our integration of platforms like Alteryx already bridges this gap, helping our students develop the analytical mindset and adaptability needed to succeed in a tech enabled profession. And in accounting education, this shift calls for greater emphasis on data literacy, analytics, and technology fluency alongside traditional principles. As educators, we must prepare students not just to use the new tools, but apply critical thinking and professional skepticism as they do so. The concept of human in the loop is vital. While AI and other tools are taking over many data processes, human judgment remains essential to ensure accuracy and integrity.
And with that, we've reached the end of very insightful interviews with two educators in our SparkED program. A huge thank you to Ashley Davis and Ahmet Kurt for sharing their stories and their dedication to their students' success. If you'd like to learn more about the SparkED program and how to get involved, visit alteryx.com/sparked. Thanks for listening.